members. Welcome to the workshop session integration, how to use the Catalyst connector. My esteemed colleague here, Ajay Bela, Senior Developer Engineer, will take us through some of the basics and lay the groundwork and the foundation around Catalyst. And then we're going to go ahead and take a look at a demo. So first and foremost, let me introduce Ajay, and Ajay will give you the opportunity to go ahead and take us through the Catalyst connector, some of the basics, and walk through that agenda portion of it. So let me go ahead and get us to that point. Mary, if you don't mind passing the baton to Ajay. So again, first and foremost, we're going to go ahead and have a discussion about how to use the Catalyst connector. Ajay will take the opportunity to express some of the basic prerequisites that are needed for us to use the Catalyst connector. We're going to take an example around CMDB, just walking through that process. So with that, Ajay, I'll hand it over to you.
Thanks, Joe. Hello, everyone. Let me share my desktop and I'll share a presentation.
You can go ahead and use, Ajay, you can go ahead and use the presentation that's there. It's queued up if you'd like.
Oh.
Either way, it's okay. So Ajay, we have updated that. If you look at the tab, the CCA CMDB one is there. If you want to use that.
Yeah. Do you want me to use that one only?
Was there any? Yeah. Maybe easier for the team here that's joining this call to walk through it. So,
yeah, I have added something here as well.
Okay, feel free. Go ahead. Continue forward.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Do you able to see my desktop?
Yes, please go ahead and put that into. We're just waiting for it to show. You can go ahead.
I'll walk you through CCA CMDB Catalyst integration part today. So the agenda for this I'll cover upon overview part. In overview, I'll cover on the terminology used in CCA, like what is an attribute profile, what we will configure in attribute profile, what is the significance of Catalyst job, and management profile update. So then I'll cover upon the prerequisite part. So to install a CCA connector, what are the prerequisites we need to have? And then after that, I'll cover the connector installation. While installing the connector, what are the details we need to enter? So then I'll go to filter part. While sending the data to Catalyst, so what are the details that we can filter out? So what are the CIs we can publish to Catalyst? So if I want any specific servers, how I can send only those servers. So if I want any rule compliance, change detection alerts need to be sent to SDM so that a service desk ticket can be raised. So how we can trigger those events. So if I want all the events without any Catalyst jobs, for example, if I add any server or if I discover any provisioning software from CCA, how I can send those details like component add, component delete, or component update. So what are the different workflows? And then I'll show you how we can troubleshoot. So this is all I'll cover.
AJ, can you speak up just a little louder?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
We have developed a new connector. Is it better, Joe?
What?
Yeah. We have developed a connector based on Catalyst 3.2 framework. So Catalyst works on hub and spoke model where Catalyst is the repository. The data model is USM model. So whatever is discovered from CCA or any connector, it can publish the data to Catalyst or it can pull the data from Catalyst. So this is how Catalyst will work. Catalyst will work on hub and spoke model. So Catalyst is the centralized unit and remaining all connectors, SDM connector or CCA connector will connect to that Catalyst server. So from CCA connector, it will pull the data from CCA core DB API layer and then it will be transformed to USM objects by the Catalyst framework using a policy file. So for example, in CCA, the terminology is if I discover anything that will call in the network, those are called as servers. So in USM terminology, server is equivalent to computer system. So whatever is discovered, installed software in CCA is a component. Same way in USM world, it will be called as provisioning software. So this transformation will be done through a policy file. So CCA connector is a northbound connector, which means CCA connector will only publish the data to Catalyst. So there are two modes we can operate with Catalyst. We can publish the data, we can pull the data. So to publishing part, we'll call it as northbound connector. So to pull the data, that will be called as southbound connector. Coming to SDM connector supports both northbound connector and southbound connector. It will pull the data from Catalyst. Same way, it will push the data to Catalyst also. Yeah, these are the terms used in CCA UI: attribute profile, Catalyst job, and management profile. So how the data will be filtered in CCA? So in the attribute profile, there are three sections available: server, component, service, and we have added recently storage as well. So if I wanted to publish for a server, network details, network adapter details, storage details, hardware details. If I want to publish communication relationships, configuration relationships. So these are all controlled through an attribute profile with a checkbox. So out of the box, we are providing an attribute profile which selects all of these profiles. So if customer is interested in only sending communication relationships, yes, he can select only communication relationships for a server, then it will be published. So remaining all the data, even though is discovered in CCA, will not be published to Catalyst. So that is about attribute profile. Coming to Catalyst job, this is the special job introduced in CCA. So here we can filter servers, services, server groups, blueprints, blueprint groups, storage systems. CCA can discover any number of servers based on network profile based through NDG or direct addition through UI. So, but if I am interested in specific servers to be published to Catalyst, so I can select only those specific servers in a Catalyst job, or I can select those specific services. So those services or servers data only will be published to Catalyst. So coming to management profile. So in management profile, from CCA we can discover two ways, either directly go to server and run a discovery by assigning specific management profile, or a specific management profile will be assigned to more than one server or services. You can run the management profile, so which will discover those management profile blueprints on those servers. So when you run the management profile also, we can send the data whatever is discovered through management profile to Catalyst. So to this, under management profile, we have enable integration checkbox is there. So there, if I check that, then Catalyst integration will be happen. So I show all these screens once my explanation is done. All this. Yeah, the prerequisites are, so to install a CCA connector, before that CCA server need to be installed and running. So to pull the data, CCA connector requires the CCA server, CCA DB information. So same way, to publish the data, we require Catalyst server to be set up. Yeah, these are the install locations. So you can find the installer of connector under these locations. So there will be a back file if I want to install on Windows. So here we can find the documentation, whatever the links shown on there. So the installation scenarios are, we suggest you to install CCA connector on the machine where CCA server is running, or you can install CCA connector on any independent machine, or you can install the CCA connector on Catalyst server machine as well. So any of these three can work for us. Yeah, once I click on the back file, sorry. my screen is rendering a bit slow. So once I click on the back file, then I'll get this installer screen. So initially introduction, and then we'll get the license agreement part. After that, it will ask you for the install location where you want to install. So it will be shown when you are okay. One second.
AJ.
Yeah.
You can go ahead and use the. I do have that tab up there if you want to go ahead and run through it. It's already preloaded.
Yeah. I was just. I will see that. Where can I? Where can I find that, Joe?
When you do on the WebEx Event Center, the tab, you'll see your tab, and there'll be the CCA Automation tab, and then there's the CCA CMDB Catalyst Integration tab. Do you see that?
Yeah, one sec. I'm just for a minute. I'm stopped sharing.
Now, there you can go ahead and share.
Yeah, CCA CMDB.
There you go. You can link to that. That should be a lot faster, and then you can talk about what you basically do. So go ahead. Go ahead and put.
If I want down, Joe.
Go ahead and see the button right there, the triangle. Go ahead and hit next page till you get to the installation part.
This one or next one? Plus or? Okay.
The challenge is the more complex we're talking about that we're dealing with the WebEx. So I do apologize. Go ahead and select the drop down and take you to the PowerPoint page that we were just at.
Fourth one?
You should be just about there. Yeah, keep going.
Is this the one?
You're there. Yes, you're there. Keep going. Mary, just verifying. You can see AJ's what he's sharing. I just want to verify that.
Yes, I can see the PowerPoint. I can't see the desktop.
Okay, good. All right. Now, just AJ, go ahead and catch up to where this is the same one that you have. So this should take you right to the. There you go. You got it.
Yeah. How can I go next, Joe?
On the top part of the bar, you'll see it looks like an arrow, not an arrow, but it's a triangle.
Yeah.
Click on that.
Yeah.
There you go. You got it.
Got it, Joe. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Sorry about the delay. Yeah. Yeah. After that, it will ask for the location where you want to install. So we can select the location. Yeah. So it will ask for the username and password, whatever you have given for Catalyst server. When you are installing Catalyst server, so then it will ask for the EEM credentials. So you need to enter the EEM username and password. Here for access, we need to select read and write. This is recommended. Yeah. Here we need to enter the Catalyst registry server information, and these are the default ports. So if we have changed when you are installing Catalyst server, then we need to update these ports as well, where registry server is running. This is basically to communicate with Catalyst server to publish the data. So now we need to enter the Catalyst server container information. So then it will ask for information, container information, and then when these two are Catalyst server host names, these are the peer nodes we need to contact. So peer port is the HTTP service port or web service endpoint port of the Catalyst server install. After entering these details, so now we need to enter the CCS server information. So what is the host name of CCS server, and on which port CCS server is running? So what are the credentials of CCS server? And this is the port we'll use for registering the notification URL, which will be used for publishing the events from CCS server to Catalyst. So the connector, CCA connector is listening for the events like Catalyst job or management profile run, or if it is a component add or server deletion, component deletion, different types of events. So now it's a turn to enter the CCA DB details, where actually we are connecting to the schema and pulling the data from the required tables. And the database username and password. Yeah. So then it will ask you for the thresholds. So I talked about alerts being published to SDM Catalyst, and which will in turn publish to SDM based on change detection or run compliance. So from CCA perspective, we will detect the changes and we can categorize based on critical, so information. So there are different categories are there. So if you want to send an alert if the count is reached more than this threshold, then you can configure those threshold limits here in the screen. So based on this, if I found any change detections more than these thresholds, then an alert CI will be constructed and published to Catalyst, so that if any action need to be happened based on that, then that can be taken from SDM. So once we enter these details, so it will summarize.
AJ, a quick question, and I'm sure it's probably going to come up. We go ahead and do the installation right here, and we put in these thresholds. Later on, how do we change those thresholds? Or will we discuss that later?
Yeah.
So if I'm a user and I go ahead and I make those changes there, or I initially go ahead and install it, and then there's a change in support and SLA that we have from a change detection perspective, would I need to go ahead and do the installation again, or can I go to a properties file and make a change?
Yeah, currently we need to change it from property file only, Joe. So that I'll figure out which file and what are the details we need to change.
Okay, excellent. Thank you.
Yeah. Moving on to attribute profile. So under attribute profile, so one thing is service. In CCA, the service is a logical grouping of specific servers. So these sections will be available. So under this, we can select these hardware details, network adapters, install applications. So these are all checkboxes in an attribute profile. So where whatever is required, we can select those checkboxes, and the remaining things will not be sent to Catalyst. This is basically used for filtering the data. Yeah, for a component, we have hardware details and network details and storage details, like CPU information, process information. Yeah, under relationships, in CCA, we have different types of relationships: configuration relationships, virtual relationships, netstart relationships. So whatever is required, we can select those types of relationships, and those only can be published. So these are all the filter options available in attribute profile. So next we have storage as well. Yeah, for a storage system, storage area network, we have these components in CCA. So now we have a checkbox for complete storage. So if I select the storage checkbox, it automatically constructs all these CIs. As these are interlinked, only one checkbox is there for storage. Yeah, so this is the screen. In CCA server, under administration tab, you can find Catalyst integration tab. So under Catalyst integration tab, the first one will be profiles. So out of the box, we are providing all Catalyst attributes profile. In this, all the filter criteria is selected. So this is the default profile. So if somebody wants to create his own profile, then we have under table actions, we have create attribute profile. So we'll see what is there in create attribute profile in the next screen. Yeah, it will ask for profile name, whether you want to make it as default, whether you want to make it as dynamic, and attributes. So once you enter description, and it will ask you for attributes. So there we have all these checkboxes. So if you see whatever we have seen in previous slides, so the same options were available. So last section is storage section. So whatever is selected in this attribute profile, those data will only be published. So that is about attribute profile. Moving on to Catalyst job. So Catalyst job constitutes of services, server groups, servers, blueprint groups, and blueprints. So user can select any of these from individual schedules available in CCA for a Catalyst job tab. So we'll see that tab next screen. Yeah. Under administration section, we have Catalyst integration. Then we have first tab is profiles, where we configured attribute profile. Now we are configuring jobs. So we are not providing any out of the box job. So we need to create a job. So we can create from this table action. Yeah, first screen it will ask for job name, description, and the attribute profile you wanted to use for this job. Then in next screen, so services schedule will be available. So it will list you all the services available in CCA. So you can select these services. Same way we have server groups and servers. So you can select blueprint groups and blueprints. So whatever the blueprints selected in this job, so based on those blueprints, whatever the discovered components were there. So if you discover based on this blueprint, so the filtering will be done. If I have discovered 10 components, I have selected only 2 blueprints. So whatever the components related to these 2 blueprints, those only will be sent. For example, I have discovered SQL Server component. I have selected here blueprint as SQL Server, then it will publish only SQL Server component from CCA to Catalyst. So we have schedule option also. Either you can run the Catalyst job now, or you can schedule it for a later time. So that is about a Catalyst job. So we have management profile. So management profile is basically, it will have group of blueprints. So you can select whatever the blueprints you want to discover as a grouping to management profile. You can assign that management profile to any of the server, and you can run the discovery. So with management profile, in the management profile tab, we can select you want to run change detection and compliance. So those options also by default it will run while configuring the management profile. So currently we are sending alerts only for management profile run for a change detection and rule compliance operations. So for a change detection, the summary would include like total number of changes, count of source, and count of target.
So rule compliance is based on severity. So this is a screen for management profile. It will select for blueprints, and in the management options and discovery options, we can select for rule compliance and change detection. Either we can schedule the management profile run, or we can run now. So now I'm talking about how we have the Catalyst integration in management profile. So in management profile, in profile section, we have Catalyst integration, enable integration. Here, if you enable this, when you run the management profile, it will also try to publish the data to Catalyst. So it will ask for attribute profile. What is the attribute profile? What is the filter criteria you want to use for this management profile run? Yeah. So other way of publishing the data is through events. So this is dynamic data, like whatever the events happened in CCA. Like if I run an NDG discovery, it will add from a range of, by mentioning range of IPs, then it will add the servers into CCA server. So then whatever the server add events are happened, for all those server adds, it will send an event to Catalyst. Okay, these are all the servers added here. You need to send to Catalyst. Here we don't have any filter mechanism, like I can't restrict any servers to be published to Catalyst. So all the events will be published when you enable the events. So how to enable events is, by default we are making it as disabled. So under administration configuration properties, we have Catalyst events enabled flag is there under properties. So we need to enable that. By default, we are disabling. Yeah, these are the different types of events we are supporting today, like server add, update or delete for a service add, same way component. So if a server is added or deleted from a service, storage, add, update, and rule compliance and change detection. These are all the different events. So this is about events. So for a management profile, we have under management options, we have these. So to send these alerts, we need to enable the rule compliance and change detection alerts in management profile section. So management profile, management options section, we have these. Rule compliance and change detection alerts need to be enabled. On the bottom section, alert section. So while management profile run from UI directly, so ad hoc option will be disabled by default for change detection and rule compliance. So moving on to workflows. So how we can send the data to Catalyst. So one way is we can create an attribute profile based on the required details. After that, we can create a Catalyst job by selecting the specific servers, services, and blueprints, etc. Then we can run or schedule a Catalyst job. which will send the data to Catalyst. So other ways, we can create a attribute profile based on the required details, and we can create a management profile. So for that management profile, we will attach the attribute profile in the profile section of management profile, and then we'll configure to send rule compliance and change detection alerts. So after that, we will attach these management profile to multiple servers and services, so which we need to send it to Catalyst. So we can run this management profile or schedule the management profile to send this data. Yeah, moving on to troubleshooting section. So these are the points we need to remember. Like every time when CCA server is restarted, we need to make sure that connector is also restarted. So for the log, we need to look for container data log folder. So this is the where the installed path. This is like for a Windows C program file, CA Catalyst folder will be there, for example. So after that, we need to go for this log. So we should not have any errors or exceptions. So it will clearly write in CCA connector.log what is the database, what is the details we are connecting, and what after successful connection. So it will write the logs, whatever we have subscribed, whether we have successfully subscribed for PS connector and Catalyst terminology. So there we should not get any errors or exceptions. So we need to look for this log as well, Catalyst container wrapper.log. We should not have any errors if it is successfully installed. And the most important thing is the time settings between Catalyst server, CCA server, or if we have SDM connector, so connector machine, all should be in sync. So you can enable debug logging by going to this folder, log4j-ucf.properties, which is there under container etc section from info to debug. So we need to check for CCA server logs for exceptions, like when we run a job, when no data is sent to Catalyst. So in that case, we need to restart the CCA connector, which is resolving the problem. So in CCA connector log as well, like when you publish the data, it will write the UIDs, like whatever the UIDs has sent to Catalyst, and whatever the UIDs we got the correlation ID, which is reconciled properly in Catalyst UI. So those details you can observe in CCA connector.log as well. When you run a job, so whatever the selection details are there, so it will write for, okay, if it is a relationship is sent, if it is a server is sent. So with these ID, those stuff you can observe in the log file as well. Same way we have in the job where we have one tab where we can see what are the CIs are successfully published and what are the CIs got failed. So where we can see what are the reasons, we need to see it in the logs only. I'll show when I show in UI. So if the server is HTTPS enabled, you need to enable, change the configuration setting through Catalyst registry UI or admin UI. So for the configuration parameter to be secure. And then you need to restart the Catalyst container, which is hosting the CCA connector. So for any connector installation, the prerequisite is like you need to install the container first, and then on top of that we need to install the CCA connector, or in fact any Catalyst connector. So the deletes are happen through a daemon thread, which will be scheduled with an interval of 15 minutes. This is the flag where we will have this setting. So we are also maintaining in CCA database whatever the data we have published. Based on that checksum only, we are able to calculate the differences, delta portion, and then we are only sending the data. For example, so if I have selected server A, and if I ran the catalyst job, then it will first time it will go and add the checksum. Okay, this server is sent to catalyst. So next time onwards, if any changes to that server, either a person or location CIR, if any new component is discovered, those data, whatever the data newly added, only will be sent to catalyst. So if you want the base CI need to be sent, then you need to remove this data from catalyst checksum tables, which is there in CCA DB. Then only you can able to send the data again.
AJ, let's go ahead. We're going to have some questions and answers after this. Go ahead and click the next slide, and let's go ahead and go and do the demo. I think that will be helpful for our community to see.
Yeah, I have already published some data to Catalyst, so I have those UIs already opened. I'll just show you whatever we have discussed here.
So go ahead and share your desktop and take us through that for the next 15, 20 minutes. I'm sure the community wants to, we'll get out of the PowerPoint, let's get in and take a look at the demo and go from there. So AJ, go ahead and share your desktop.
Yeah. Yes. 1 minute. Yes.
Okay. So during this time, community, feel free to go ahead and ask your questions in the chat box, and we'll see if we can answer some of those as AJ takes us through the actually demo portion of this workshop.
Yeah, I have just shared my desktop, so it is taking time to render.
Yeah, so go ahead and minimize that, and then see if you can share.
Yeah.
So, like I said, feel free to go ahead.
Do you able to see my desktop?
Yes. Right now, I still see the main slide area. I'm waiting for.
Right.
There we go.
Right.
Excellent. Thank you. Again, for the community, feel free to ask your questions. Put those in the chat box, and we'll see if we can answer those as we go through this. I don't want to delay with latency here. So, thank you. Continue. So again, feel free to ask your questions why AJ reestablishes connection to his server. All right, we'll give it one more shot, AJ, and then if we can't, we'll continue in a secondary workshop if we have to. But then I'll open it up for all questions if we can't get through this process.
Sure.
Are we good? We have AJ, you have the connection?
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead and go for it.
Yeah. So this is my CCS server where I'll just show you about the integration tabs, whatever we have discussed, and I can try to create some of the things. So now we'll try to create the details here. I have already published some data, so I'll show you the REST UI as well, whatever I have already published. So here we have administration configuration properties tab. Here we have that events enabled disabled part. So under catalyst section, catalyst events enabled. So this we need to make it as true. So then it will try to publish the data. So then other part I talked about is catalyst integration. So this is out of the box attribute profile which is already available here. So this is about all the selections are already done here. So this is the out of the box thing. So if I want to customize any of these details, either I can modify this or I can create my own attribute profile. So we can see things like what are the details will be sent for each attribute inside this. So if I talk about hardware details, so it will give you hardware details are nothing but these details we are trying to send to Catalyst. So there are 35 attributes are available here. So whatever the attributes here, we'll construct corresponding CIs in Catalyst related to these attributes. So same way we have, if it is a network adapter details. So these are all typically we'll configure IP config or port CI in a Catalyst world based on these details. So we have hardware blueprint and network and storage blueprints as well. So that's why those are comes under component section. So same thing we have if it is a configuration relationship. So in Catalyst, a relationship will be constructed if source and target CIs are reconciled properly. I mean to say, like if a server one has a relationship, for example, cluster, it has members, two servers has members. So then if I send only server details, one server details also will not sufficient. So if I send all the details, cluster and server, then it will establish the relationship between cluster and server. So the prerequisite is all the CIs need to be reconciled, then only the relationship between those CIs will be established in Catalyst. So if it is a communication relationship, so these attributes available. So if it is a storage system, so these are all the details which will be mapped to storage array in Catalyst. So we have storage LUN. So this is about attribute profile. So we can go and create attribute profile like profile. I want to make it as default. Then so I am interested in only cluster details. So I am interested in components. So I am interested in only communication configuration relationships. So I am not interested in storage. So I can add all these. I can finish. So I have test profile created. So same way I can have the job. So create the Catalyst job. So with the latest CCA, we will be able to see test connector status as well. Whether your connector is responding or not, we can test it with this test connector status button. So I'm just creating test job. So where it is asking for attribute profile. So now I select whatever the profile we have created, and then so I do not have any services created in my CCA. No server groups, sorry. So I have these servers, so I can select all or I can select any specific server. And so storage systems, if any storage systems already discovered. Blueprint groups, blueprints, it will list all the blueprints. So if I am specifically want any specific blueprint, that only I'll select. And finally we have a schedule tab. So if I want to schedule it for future, I can schedule, and I have a notification also. So once this job runs, then it can be notified to me as well through an email. So we have created a test job. Then so I talked about one new tab, export summary tab. So this is the tab. Once I publish the data, then if every CA is, the count is here, then which means it is this is the total count and this is the successful count. So yeah, the count is here matching with this total count, then all are successful. If any failed CA is there, it will list here, and if you click on that CA, then it will show you the what is the server you are not able to send. So those details will be seen from this screen. So we have options like run the Catalyst job, and you can refresh this export summary. This export summary also you can export it to Excel, so which will have all these failure CA details related to CCA, what is the server is missing, what is the IP config is missing, or what is the details are not able to send to Catalyst. So whether it is a relationship CI or whether it is a server CI, so what is the reason? So now we don't have any provision to look out the reason here from the UI. So again we need to go back and look in the CC connector logs what we have discussed. So there it will actually write whether it is not able to communicate or whether only source CA is there and target CA is missing. Because of that, it is not able to reconcile the Catalyst relationship. So after this, we can run the job. So I have already published the data. So this is the Catalyst REST UI which is hosted on Catalyst server machine. So once I install the Catalyst server, so with this port, whatever the port it is there, with that I can access the REST services. The first check is we can check here whatever the CIs published to Catalyst. So I'll show you some of the CIs which I have already published. So I'm talking about all these things, just computer system, background process, provision software, cluster, if it is a processor. So for all the things, so we have a term called as projection in Catalyst. That is nothing but a record. So we have CCA projections here, Catalyst projections here, and any other connector which has those projections here. Projection is nothing but a record. So whatever is published from CCA, it will have a CCA record. So all the projections will be reconciled to a Catalyst record. So which is the master record of all the CIs, all the projections. So if you see here, we can see the different data sources. So Catalyst is the default one. There is a configuration automation. So if I go to this one, whatever the data is published in CCA, those will be shown. So for a CI, if it is successfully reconciled, then there is a Catalyst default and these views will be created. If any CI is reconciled, reaching to service desk, and if any CI is published from service desk, there will be a corresponding service desk projection also will be created. So I'll just show you a couple of CIs. So this is the computer system, and it is opened configuration automation projection. So I have published this server. So if I go here, so which will list down the attributes related to computer system. What is the label of this one? What is this? Is MDR element ID is the Catalyst ID. So from which source it is published, and what is the primary DNS name of this server? What is the IPv4 address? So these are all the details we discovered in CCA, and I have published previously. So these details. So what is the, okay. So this is about the relationship I'm talking about. So I have a Oracle DB instance 11G, so which is installed. So this is discovered on that server. So that's why there is a relationship between the server to this database, and it is hosting a couple of instances as well. These are the schemas of the database, and this server is also part of a cluster. So that is about, this server is hosted by this cluster. So this is a member of this cluster server. So and also it is having a relationship with port. So if I go to cluster, it has the members. This is about cluster. So this also we can discover in CCA. So under this cluster we have two servers. So these are the members of the server, and this is hosting a service, which is nothing but this service. So if I want to see these details as XML, then you can see the same thing as a XML also. This is one way we can verify whether whatever the data we have published is reached to Catalyst or not. So from here, the job to SDM is SDM connector will pull the data from Catalyst and store it in a CMDB. It will create. So this is the data available in Catalyst. So there may be, we can see some differences, like if I change CMDB view, so which will have the master view. So this is reconciled view. It has some other details like, so it decoded as what is the host names of those servers. From CCA we have send it as LODI BMCL to serve, but in CMDB it is reconciled to CL1 and CL2 actual server names. So I talked about the logs. I just wanted to show you the path of the logs. So this is, I have opened Catalyst server log. So there you can find the container. Under that we have data and we have log folder here, which will have all the logs. So these are related to Catalyst server. For CCA connector, we have another file called CCA connector.log. Let me see if I have. I'm just checking. I have SPM.
AJ, Joe here again.
Yeah.
While we're doing this, there's a couple questions here, and maybe this might be an opportunity as we're getting this going to ask them. John Weston asked this question: if I create a custom blueprint and include that blueprint in a management profile, that will be included in, will that be included in the Catalyst job? Will our custom blueprints be?
Yes, Joe.
Okay.
Yes, whatever the custom blueprint is created also, we can will be listed in available blueprints. So for a provisioning software, we were sending what is the software name and installed location of that. So let me show you here. I have a copy of one of the blueprint. Number. These are some of the custom blueprints. So if you see, we can find those copy of blueprints as well. So if you select here, if the corresponding component is discovered in CCA, so that component is sent to Catalyst as provision software. So we are able to see, right, copy of what are the customs I have here. I can select these and I can save and I can send these, Joe.
Okay, excellent. Hopefully that answers your question, John. Another quick question was, let me try to read this one here. I guess we're trying to look at the use cases for having different profiles other than the default when it comes to use of, what are the use cases for having different profiles other than the default? Are the best practice on creating profiles based on services or the size of the data to be returned? So I guess hopefully I can articulate this. We're using just the administrator to go ahead and use Catalyst. So whatever we built from a blueprint perspective, we are taking responsibility. We're passing that over into Catalyst, correct? Okay. Another question, why we're here, can I map custom parameters of a blueprint?
Currently, no, Joe. We are not sending any component parameters to Catalyst as there were not supported columns in the database of USM. So that requires what is the mapping of that. So if I elaborate on that, so for a component discovered in CCA, we have different buckets, parameter, configuration and management. So under parameter, we have different values. For each blueprint, it has its own parameters. For Catalyst, if I want to send it to Catalyst, the corresponding parameter should be there in Catalyst USM schema as well, or whatever the mapping we wanted to do, that should be there for the particular CI. So either it is a provision software or if it is any CI, we need to map. So that is not there, and with the policy changes also we can't do as of now, Joe.
Hopefully that's clear to the folks on here. I know I see some questions coming in asking for more. We'll get more into that. If not on this call, I'll make sure it's in the community. So it'll be an automation community, anything that I haven't addressed yet, but we'll have a Q&A in just a few moments. Are you in a good point still with the demonstration? I'll go ahead and go on mute. Go ahead, continue, AJ, sorry.
Yeah. One last thing I want to see, Joe, like I have that SDM, then I'll just open up that UI and let me see whatever we have sent. That's also good. I'm just wanted to open.
AJ, can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah.
AJ?
Yeah, go ahead.
Marvin Felder here, State of New Jersey. AJ, let me ask you a question. When you were on the area with the Catalyst and the Catalyst job, okay, now I have created a Catalyst job, okay, and apparently when you get to the servers, it appears that you can put servers and select it, from whatever servers is available, based on whatever blueprints you have associated with it to populate it in the Catalyst. If I want to use that same Catalyst job that was created, I can add more servers to it, but I cannot remove the original server that that job was created against. Is that correct?
Yes, you can remove those servers from the...
Here's the scenario. Here's the scenario. I go to Catalyst. I create a Catalyst job, okay, and a Catalyst profile, okay? Right. Now, as a result of, there is a server that I put in the selected server area. Is that correct? That very first server that I put in the selected server area, okay? And if I want to not create another job to have so many multiple Catalyst jobs, if I switch the servers around, the job appears to not run. Is that a defect in the system or no?
Yeah, I have one point here. Like, so in a Catalyst job, we have 3 sections, right? Services, server
Right.
groups, and servers, right?
That is correct.
So any of the thing is should be present in the job. So it will not allow you to save the job itself if you remove all of the things. One thing. So, and again, the second point is, if you remove something from the Catalyst job, that doesn't mean that is deleted from CCA.
Right.
So there is a difference. Okay, if you remove that and
it's not that it's being deleted from CCA. What's happening is if I go into Catalyst jobs and I select a particular server, like for instance, I have one that's called just random jobs, okay? And I just have random servers in this particular server selection. Now, as a result of me running it populates. I want to switch the servers around on the selected area. It won't allow that job to run as a result of it. The very first server that was added into Catalyst was removed. Okay? So I don't know if that's a defect or not. But you're saying to me I should have the ability to select and or deselect any servers that I want in Catalyst regardless of what the Catalyst job name is. Is that correct?
Yeah, but we enforced one condition, like at least one service or server group should be present in a Catalyst job for you to save or edit.
I'm sorry, say that again. You're saying, repeat that, I'm sorry.
Yeah, we have a validation like for a creation of a job or while editing of a job. So at least one server or service or a server group is mandatory.
Absolutely.
If any of these 3 things are, so that is there. That only validation is there. So if any of these 3 are not there, then there is no meaning. We are not able to publish anything to Catalyst, right?
Right. My condition was I had 4 servers, random servers, that I selected in a Catalyst job.
Right.
I submitted the job to Catalyst.
Right.
It appeared to have worked. Okay.
Right.
Now what I wanted to do was replace those servers with other servers. So I removed the originals. Now when I removed the 4 originals, okay, and I replaced 3 additionals, okay, that wasn't there before, the job does not run. Now my question is, do I need to add the 3 additionals prior to removing the 4 originals?
Yeah, I'll tell you. Right now, if I understood correctly, your scenario is initially when I created a job, I have added server 1 to 4. I have run the job. It published it to Catalyst. So now I have server 5 to 7. So I wanted to do that. So let me directly do it now. We'll see. Okay.
Excellent.
So
Excellent.
we can do that. What we can do is we can remove those previous servers and add the new servers, and we need to run the job again, which will only take these 3 new servers and we will publish to Catalyst. So let me show you that.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thanks. I appreciate you. Okay.
Yeah. If I have a requirement, we have requirements. So 8.6 is removed, for example. So I can save it and only 2 I can send. Now you are able to see, right, my screen?
Correct. I can see your screen. Thanks.
Yeah. Okay. So really quickly, there's a case where we have to use the clear to for republishing, correct?
I'm sorry.
AJ?
Yes, Joe. Sorry, I missed it. Can you come again?
So we're utilizing clear to republish for the Catalyst. Great. Correct. The policy.
Right.
Okay. Thank you.
Right.
Okay. So go ahead and finish this out. And I think this is probably where we have 8 minutes left. I know there's several people here who have a lot of questions. So go ahead and close this out in a minute or 2, and then let's open it up for questions.
Sure, Joe. 1 minute. So this is the machine I have STM available. Let me connect to this UI and we'll see. We have some data here as well, whatever we have published. So this is the service desk UI. I have end-to-end setup here. So whatever the data I have showed you from Catalyst, from cluster 1, so I have some data here. I'll just try to see here. First, I wanted to filter.
AJ, can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah.
You've answered my question. I've seen the procedure, what you did. I think what actually transpired with me is when you change the servers out, you click the Save tab. Is that correct? To update it.
Right.
Right. Okay, good enough.
Right.
I don't want to take you through a long, drawn-out process. I appreciate you answering that question for me because I've had challenges with that in the past. So as a result of you answering the question, you satisfied my query. Okay?
Okay. Okay, sure.
Thank you so much.
So to finish this, I just wanted to show for our CCS CMDB thing, whatever CIs are already available here, I just wanted to show some of the CIs. So that's why I'm just log into Service Desk Manager, and I'm just searching already available CAs. So I just wanted to see if anything.
I know Joe said something about Q&A thereafter, and it was time constraint. But you satisfied my question. I do appreciate you.
All right, no worries.
All right, thanks, Joe.
So this is one of the server. This is there. I just wanted to show you.
Okay. I know we're getting tight on time, so if you're okay, we'll go ahead and ask a few questions. If we can't answer all the questions, we're going to go ahead and capture those questions and put them on the automation community. The question and then the answer below it. And if you want to do that yourself, feel free to go ahead and post your question on the automation community, and we'll answer those as well. So either way, you know, if you want to hang on here for a few more minutes, feel free. If not, feel free to put your questions on the automation community. I go on there multiple times through a day. AJ's one of our development resources. I talk to other development resources to make sure we can answer your question as soon as possible. So again, you can go ahead and either type that in the Q&A box, or if you'd like, you can, I believe it's *6 to go off of mute and ask your questions. We'll do 5 more minutes at the most, and I know we're coming to the top of the hour for quite a few of you, and we do appreciate you hanging on here, walking through this process with us, and we value your time. So if you want to stay on here for 5 more minutes, that's fine. If not, feel free to put whatever questions you have on the community. We'll answer those then. So hit *6 and ask your question. All right. Again, we're at the top of the hour. I just want to take the time and thank everyone for joining. How to use the Catalyst connector. I know we went through some of the steps. They're a bit detailed. So hopefully this was an opportunity to at least see some of the steps, get somewhat of an idea how to use the Catalyst connector, seeing those steps, not just reading in the documentation, but actually walking through that. So like I said, automation community, feel free to post questions you have about the use of the Catalyst connector within CCA's configuration to the CMDB, or if you have some questions about some of the configuration. We look forward to seeing those questions. Look forward to responding to those questions to you. So at this time, we'll go ahead and close this out. And hopefully you'll join us for our next session when we do another workshop next month. We're going to consider a couple options. I'll post those up on there as a poll to see if we can find out which is the most interesting topic that we should address, whether it's, maybe we need to have a second one of how to use the Catalyst connector, or should we talk about compliance. We have a few other ideas for the workshop. So again, I appreciate everyone's time for attending. Please take a moment to poll. Again, we learn from each and every workshop how to better deliver it, maybe more time on the demo, less time on presentation. But we're here to help you. You're a customer. You're the one that's going to utilize the solution to help your job. So again, I thank you for your time. AJ, I thank you for taking us through this. And again, I appreciate everyone's attendance.